Welcome to JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the world. If this is your first time checking out a video, please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility in the algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate it. Without further ado, let's get to it. We're watching a clip of First Take, talking about Derrick Henry, obviously going to the Ravens, and whether or not, if this makes them now scarier than the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm really excited to do this video because for whatever reason, you Kansas City Chiefs fans think that I am a major Kansas City Chiefs hater and a hater of Patrick Mahomes and all this, which is just not true. I am a huge Patrick Mahomes fan. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen. I absolutely love watching him. Every year he's won the Super Bowl. That's who I thought was going to win the Super Bowl. Every year outside of 1 year, maybe two, I was rooting for them to win a Super Bowl. Okay? And I think Andy Reid is one of the best coaches ever. I think he's the GOAT coach. I think he's better than Belichick, without a doubt. There's actually no doubt in my mind. And so for whatever reason, just because I don't only say nothing but 100% positives, and just because I don't automatically say the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win every single game and all that, I'm not Nick Wright. You guys think that I'm a hater of Mahomes and stuff. So I'm excited to do this video because you're going to hear me say lots of positive things about the Kansas City Chiefs. So, but you'll probably still hate on me because I'll still give caveats. So let's take a listen to see what Stephen A. and Ryan Clark and Mad Dog have to say about this, and then we can break it down from there.
Now make the Ravens even scarier than the Chiefs.
No, there's no way, because the quarterback, I still can't take Jackson over Mahomes, and Lamar did not play well again in postseason play. Listen, Lamar's Henry would do a great job. He'd be really motivated. He's got a chance to go to a Super Bowl. He's got something to prove. They will feed with him. That is a great signing, don't get me wrong. But still, if I told you right now, even with Henry, that the Chiefs and Ravens are playing in the 2024 AFC Championship game, and Mahomes is Mahomes and Lamar is Lamar, you'd still take the Chiefs to win the game. You'd have to. They won last year in Baltimore, and of course the Flowers fumbled and all. I understand, but the Chiefs still pretty much controlled that football game. So until somebody shows me that they can derail Mahomes in a postseason game, was he 15-2 in the postseason? I still think that the Chiefs are the team to beat. But I do think, before we throw it to Ryan and Stephen A. here, this is a great signing because he'll be motivated. He'll get out of Tennessee. He'll have some help offensively, and he's going to try to win a Super Bowl. But I do think the Chiefs are still the team to beat.
I'll let RC be the judge and jury on this one. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you, but I'm going to utter the word respectfully because I understand what you're saying, because Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and we're talking about the reigning defending Super Bowl champion, so I get that. But when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, you look at how they played defense this year. Now we got to harken back to why did you lose in an AFC Championship game? Obviously, there was some mistakes. Zay Flowers obviously caught a touchdown in the end zone, but ultimately lost the ball. We get that part. We know that Lamar Jackson threw an interception as well. Here's what I would say to you. You lose the game 17-10. We're talking about a guy in Derrick Henry. Now, granted, he's 30 years of age, so he's not going to do what he used to do over the last 5 seasons where he's led the league in carries. He's been averaging about 306 carries, crying out loud. That's a lot of workload, but this man is a man-child. In a man's league, he's a man amongst boys at that position. So you're talking about a bell cow at the running back spot. When we talk about quarterbacks, and if we ever question what they're lacking, one of the things, Doggy, that offsets the level of skepticism that might be thrown in their way is when they have somebody in the backfield that they can hand the ball off to on a significant level. When you have that person, I don't care what quarterback you are, we're usually looking at you as being in a better situation than you were before. So now let's ask ourselves, Lamar Jackson in a better situation. Lamar Jackson. This ain't Ryan Tannehill in a better situation. Yeah. This is not somebody like that, Derek Carr, somebody like that, in a better situation. This is Lamar Jackson. And you just lost the game, the AFC Championship game, just by a touchdown. I'm looking at it from that standpoint. I'm seeing a defense, obviously, with Queen, he's going, and I get that that's going to compromise you to some degree. But a big-time defense with Lamar Jackson, with Zay Flowers, with your offensive coordinator that you've got. Now you get Derrick Henry in the backfield to give the ball to at least 20 times. I mean, we talk about more than that, but at least 20 times. I think that helps them immensely. I'm sorry. I think that this team right now.
Team to beat now? Team to beat in the
Well, listen,
NFC.
I think their offense, because we're asking the questions about who's scarier. Look at Kansas City. Did you get an all-world wide receiver? Have I missed something? Have I missed the report? Have I missed the report?
No.
Have they acquired some DeAndre Hopkins or somebody? Have they acquired somebody? I don't know that. Until I see Patrick Mahomes getting one of those weapons, I'm going to look at Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens right now, and I'm going to say with Derrick Henry there offensively, yeah, I like them a lot.
So I agree. I understand what Stephen A is saying, but there's a couple things here. One, let me first anger some Kansas City Chiefs fans first, and then I will hopefully win your love and respect and admiration. The Ravens absolutely could have won that game against the Chiefs. The Chiefs were absolutely gettable. The score was 17-10, okay? Let's not act like the Chiefs just unleashed and dominated that game, okay? The defense for the Chiefs played well. They absolutely did. But the Ravens self-imploded. They hurt themselves. Not only the fumble, which was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. You learn that in Pee Wee football to not do that, okay? And then as well as the taunting penalty just absolutely killed the Ravens. Now, of course, Lamar Jackson made a terrible throw. And, that's, that was his fault. Again, I'm not going to give it to the credit of the defense. That was his fault. Not to mention the play calling for the Ravens was atrocious. They averaged the most carries, actual handing the ball off, not even just like direct runs from Lamar Jackson. The most carries in the NFL, and in that game, they only handed the ball off, I think it was like 6 times or something, which is just outrageous. Outrageous. They were just, so that was their own self defeating them, not only their players defeating themselves, as well as their coaching, okay? Now, so if you don't do those things, I think the Ravens absolutely could win. And so now if you add Derrick Henry to that, you might be inclined to not hand the ball off only 6 times, right? You'll actually feed him the ball. And then I think if that's the case, then I think the Ravens absolutely could win that game. Okay, now that I angered all you Chiefs fans, let me try to win you back over. With that said, and I'm not going to just give the throwaway, well, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. No. What makes Patrick Mahomes so difficult to beat is one of the final plays of that game, okay? When it was a gotta-have-it first down, and he hadn't really thrown the ball downfield or really did any of these really that difficult of throws. He made a couple bad throws that actually Travis Kelce had to like lay out for and really made some great catches. But I forget who he threw the ball to. I forget if it was a 3rd down or 4th down. But it was, to ice the game. Where they get a first down, the game's over, right? And he throws this like perfect throw. It was a perfect play call, the perfect throw, and the perfect catch. Something that you didn't really see any other quarterback do throughout the whole playoffs. Only Patrick Mahomes, and it was the perfect play call. That is the genius of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. That is why they are the most deadliest duo, coach-quarterback duo I have ever seen, and I think of all time, without a doubt, okay? That is what makes them so difficult to beat. Not even the Travis Kelce's, which obviously is amazing and helps, and not even necessarily the great defense, which obviously is amazing and helps, but it's that duo. They are never out-coached or out-quarterbacked. That's what it comes down to. Andy Reid out-coaches every single coach that he faces. Every single coach. And Patrick Mahomes outplays every single quarterback that he plays, okay? Those are the difference makers. So if the Ravens went up against the Chiefs again, this idea that like, okay, well now they're definitely going to win. I think they can win. I really do. Like the Ravens can win. And again, you would just have to be the biggest mega fan just to say otherwise, okay? You're just not looking at it from like a realistic, practical standpoint then. But I'm never betting on Andy Reid being outcoached, or I'm never betting on Patrick Mahomes being frazzled and unable to just, get the job done. I'm not betting on that at all. The coaching staff for the Ravens looked like a bunch of clowns in that playoff game. They looked like a bunch of fools doing what they did. They put their players, specifically Lamar Jackson, in a position to fail. That is the difference. A good coach, okay, his number one job, and I've had personal coaches do say this to me and put me in these situations, as well as I just heard Sean Payton say this recently as well. Your number one job as a coach is to put your players in a position to succeed. That's the number one job, okay? The coaches in that playoff game specifically did not put Lamar Jackson in a position to succeed. And his players even hurt him by fumbling, getting taunting calls, getting all of these dumb penalties, only put Lamar Jackson's back up against the wall more and more and more. Andy Reid never puts Patrick Mahomes in a position to fail. Never. And when Patrick Mahomes starts hurting himself and his mechanics get all wonky or he's pushing the ball downfield in ways that aren't good, Andy Reid is the genius that is able to put everything back down to earth and say, this is what we need to do. It's okay. Let's go. And he makes everything better. I always use this example because you always see it. Anytime the game starts to get a little, maybe somewhat out of control for the Chiefs, like things aren't going according to plan, Andy Reid is butt to butt with Patrick Mahomes, sitting right next to him. You don't see other coaches doing that, okay? You don't see it. Sure, they obviously talk to their quarterbacks and have conversations. Not like what you see Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid do. It is butt to butt, and it's Andy Reid's like a monster relative to Patrick Mahomes, and they're right on top of each other, and they are just locked and loaded, okay? They are locked and loaded, okay? It's like father and son, honestly, out there. And that is incredibly difficult to beat. That is impossible. And you do not see that with any team. No other quarterback that I see has that, okay? None. Not even Sean McVay and Matt Stafford, not even Shanahan and whoever his quarterback is at the time, whether it's Garoppolo or Purdy. You don't see that. And so that is invaluable because not only can Andy Reid pull the strings, but then he has Patrick Mahomes who knows how to do the things that need to be done. He knows how to make the right decision. He knows how to not make the wrong decision, which are two different things. So that is what makes the Kansas City Chiefs so unstoppable. And now you team that up with a great defense, and obviously it makes everyone's life easier. But I do think, I'm on the record saying this, I do think the Chiefs need to get better. Absolutely. I think if all the other teams are getting better and the Chiefs don't, then I think the Chiefs' chance of even just making the Super Bowl is significantly harder. I think they were incredibly fortunate to win the Super Bowl this year. That doesn't mean that they were unworthy. That doesn't mean that they weren't deserving. That doesn't mean that they got lucky in the sense, because I use luck differently. It doesn't mean that they got lucky in the sense of, you just roll dice and that's the way it goes. They were fortunate for all the circumstances that unfolded. They took advantage of other teams that were not as prepared as well as the Chiefs because of Andy Reid, of that coaching staff, and Patrick Mahomes. But when other teams get better and better and better, you can't always rely on that. And that's kind of what Stephen A was saying of like he needs to get another big wide receiver. They need to do something. And I believe that. I really do. I just can't see how the Chiefs will be able to get away with another year that they did. And again, all the proof you need is that they were like the number 3 seed. And if there wasn't so many injuries, they easily could have been less. They easily could have been fighting for a wild card spot. That's not going to fly anymore. A lot of other teams are getting better. The Ravens are getting better. The Texans are getting better. The Bengals should be better because Joe Burrow should not be hurt. You never know what's going to happen with the Bills. The Colts are going to be better. The Broncos will be better. And the Chargers will be better. So other teams are getting better. It's not to say that now all of a sudden the Chiefs have no chance of winning. I'm not saying the Chiefs are, bottom of the barrel and going to be fighting to make a playoff spot necessarily. But it's just going to be harder for them and they're not going to get along. And guess what? I know I'm right because Patrick Mahomes restructured the deal to free up more cap space. So he knows he needs help. If he didn't think he needed help, he wouldn't do that. He would say, no, we're good. I got this. They know they need help. So if you don't believe me, take it from him. Take it from literally Patrick Mahomes and the GM because they know they need more help. They need to free up cap space and they need to get better players there. And they need to do it ASAP. They're not dumb. They're not a dumb organization. So if you disagree with me, well, then you just disagree with how they're running their own organization. So, but those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. Do you think Derrick Henry with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens makes them better than the Chiefs? Or do you think you just can't stop those Kansas City Chiefs? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. Let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. As I said, we are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of, and I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.